I am so filled with energy. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Do you hear the difference between the first time I did hi, everyone, and the second time I did hi, everyone? What is the difference? The difference is that in the first one, I'm holding my voice back. Therefore, I'm holding myself back because I do not have the confidence that if I speak in full voice, it's going to be right. Because we as people are being told more times than not that we should be quiet, that we should shut up. That's actually the truth, especially as children. Think about your childhood. Think about the times that you remember yourselves as children. How many times were the adults in your life eager for you to speak, eager for you to scream, eager for you to play spontaneously and just be yourself? How many times do you remember were like that? Not so many, unfortunately, because the way that parents are being taught themselves to raise children is in a way that it's conforming to the society's rules. It's the same education that's being taught that makes you grow up as an adult and doubt yourself as a human being. The first rule as a child, the first thing that you're being taught and the first thing that you're being disciplined about is for something that you did, which was spontaneous, because that in the eyes of society means that you are not a polite person. So if you are playing in a way that's out of the so-called box that you are supposed to be educated as a child to stay in, you are being a bad boy or you are being a bad girl. And then you grow up and you are conditioned exactly the same way. Because if you are being taught for so many years growing up to be a certain way, your mental education, your physical interpretation, your emotional training, everything that has to do with what forms you to be a good adult is to not be yourself. Because the way that you act as a child is the most pure way, the most imaginative way, the most you that you can be. And all of that in our society is considered to be a bad thing. Am I right? Am I right? So then you grow up and you try to be yourself again. So everything that you were told not to do, now you have to go back and reverse all that training. You have to uneducate yourself to find that part of that child, of that inner child that was the most you, but was stifled, was kept down, was kept hidden. And as an adult, you're trying to dig deep inside of yourself. You have to go in depth your entire life as an adult to find that child, to find that spontaneity, to find that imagination, to find that confidence, to be free of restrictions from yourself. How long does it take us to do that? As long as it took you, as long as you were taught to shut up the little child as long as 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Some people as adults never get to understand that that's what it is. And the way to undo all of that was done is to liberate yourself again. And that takes as many years of practice as it did as the education that was placed upon you. And this goes for everybody. This is not even an episode for just actors. This is not just an episode for artists. This is for everybody. I have to make a note. I have to kind of stop and say to myself, I have a hat on. I can't just pretend that I don't have a hat on today. I have one of my many hats that I love to put on sometimes because it gives me that freedom to be myself in a way that if I did not have this object, I wouldn't allow myself to go there. So right now, the reason it started with the real reason why I decided that I was going to wear this hat is because I was not liking my hair today. It needs to be washed. I haven't washed it yet. So then I said to myself, what can I do to make myself look pretty? I can try one of my many hats because I haven't worn it in a long time. Hide the fact that I don't like the way that my hair looks without it, but with it, it looks really beautiful. Do you see it? It's beautiful. It's radiating. I feel good about it, having it on. And that takes me to today's episode. There was a little preview that I did before on Instagram about what I learned from my students. And I get so excited to do the episodes of Hey Stella podcast right after I have a class or right after I talk or I work with an actor one-on-one. Yesterday, I worked with the amazing Jason LaFleur, who's one of my dear friends and an actor whom I know for so long. And his work is so powerful. So when I work with him one-on-one and we discover the scenes in a way that at first glance, when you read the scene, you don't see all that's happening between the characters, but then you discover it and then you try it and he tries it. It's surprising and it just blows you out of your comfort zone. It's so energetic for me to then come and do the episode for Hey Stella because I want to have the energy. I don't want to just sit back and just talk about what I want to talk about. The subject is a interview with myself. I'm just going to tell you what this means and I'm just going to tell you what that means. I want to feel invigorated. And the work, when done by great actors, such as the one that I mentioned, gives me that energy. And it gives me that desire to actually find my words of what I want to say, because most of the time I don't find my words. So thank you, Jason. And then today, the students from my class, who I talk about in other episodes, they're not even actors, they're directors, they're cinematographers, but they're taking acting to understand what it's like to put themselves into the shoes of the actor. So today we had them all play the same character, take after take after take. Each one got to go once against and with a professional actor that was brought to class. Adam, thank you, Adam. You were incredible. He was really, really good. And I gave the students the opportunity to actually play a scene with a professional actor who brought it. He just went for it. He brought it. Then I guided the scenes and they went into a different direction. But what the reminder for me was that people do not know, and I'm talking even about actors, they do not know. And directors, majority of the directors, I'm sorry to say, but they have no idea. They understand that a scene, when they call a scene, when they call action, the scene has to be something different than what happened the moment before. And that's what I want to talk about today. you as the person before the character have to be in tune with that inner child, with that playful self, in order to care enough about the character and in order to then get into the dialogue with another actor character. If you, first of all, do not acknowledge your being in the moment, to then be able to bring that truth to the scene and merge the two together, there is going to just be a character who speaks lines, who is not truthful, who is not convincing, and who will not make the audience entertained, who will not move the audience, who will not keep the audience in the palm of their hands. And that was a reminder. I today wanted to put myself in a situation before I ask the students to do something. I always do that. I do much more on my feet and in practice when I'm trying to teach something, when I'm trying to describe something, because it's one thing to sit behind the desk and ask them to be courageous enough to reveal who they are and to find who they are. Remember what we talked about? To go in on stage, on set, on location, in front of other people, in front of a director, to reveal that little child inside of you who's ready to play, who's ready to come out and have fun. I demonstrate my way of doing it rather than just explain it in words. Because if I'm sitting behind the desk and I'm asking somebody to be in the moment and don't make the difference between the scene and you in the moment before the scene began, well, I don't know exactly what that means. If I say that to you, do you understand it? It's too much a cerebral kind of a thing, and people don't understand it. So when I got up today, I thought I was going to just put myself on my feet and make a fool of myself in trying to figure out what the beginning of the play was with this actor, Adam. So I was playing Nina. We're working on Nina from The Seagull, but it's a contemporary version. It's a play called The Nina Variations. You should look it up because it's really, really amazing. And it's a great material because it allows for so many different situations to be interpreted, as the writer already interpreted the many different relations that happen between Kostya, Treplev, and Nina. So as I got up to give the confidence, I was thinking I was going to get up and give the confidence to the students to get up themselves and not hold themselves back. So I got up on the stage of the classroom, and the first thing that I did, which I could not believe that I even remembered to do as an actress because I don't act as much, but the first thing that I remembered was, as the other actor playing Treplev came in, and I was waiting already, I was already waiting for him. He came in and he did not close the door to the classroom. So there's a classroom, he comes in from outside as the character, and he leaves the door open. That's fine. I don't know if he was aware that he left the door open. I don't know if he made that choice. I don't think he did from my observation. I think he left it open because his mind was going to playing the scene. So he knew that he had to come in with, as the play talks about, with the dead seagull that he had killed. We used a significant object. We endowed a carpet, a little towel, a little rag that we used to signify the seagull that he killed. So he was ready to come in and play the scene, leaving the door of the classroom open. As I was sitting waiting for him and I was playing Nina, I saw the door, that it was open, and I heard noise in reality of the other students from other classes going and coming. The first thing that I did, I paid attention to the observer part of me. So I put the actor to the side for a moment and I paid attention to the observer part of me and I said, you left the door open. Can't you hear them? Do you hear them, Kostya? At first, I said it as myself, as the person, but then my mind linked it to the character. And the character would have said, can't you hear them? Referring to the other two characters in the scene, to Arkadina and to Trigorin, who happen in the play to be in the other room. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you allow the truth of the surroundings, of what's happening as an observer, to be spoken out, but without giving away the fact that you're speaking it out as the actor and not the character. So for example, I'm not saying, oh, Adam, I'm not going to call the actor who's playing Treplev, Adam, you left the door open. I'll just say, you left the door open. So the audience doesn't know. Is she already starting the scene? Did she start the scene? Is she already playing Nina, or is she still Mihaela telling the actor, Adam, to close the door? So they don't know. So you're already creating a suspenseful mood for them to have something to pay attention to. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to you? I hope it does. And because you spoke the truth as the person, as the actress who's aware the door is open, then the next truthful thing of the character comes in because you have given yourself the permission to be truthful with your own thoughts before the character's thoughts take over, as it happened in this example. The next thing was Trigorin and Arkadina is in the other room. I don't want them to know I'm here. Can you please close the door? Kostya, close the door. I don't want to hear them. Trigorin is the person whom I gave up Treplev's love for, to follow him out of the provinces. I'm giving you a synopsis of the play, but I'm sure majority of you know it. And now, after he left me, he got bored with me very early on. He decided to go back to Arkadina, with whom now he is in the other room, back in the provinces. And I am left broken. I am left knowing that I followed him, and I betrayed Treplev, who's now my partner who just walked in. And I'm back to see him broken, left alone. So I have the right to say, close the door. I don't want to hear their voices. So it makes sense. It makes so much sense. And it just hit me again as a reminder. I keep hitting my head because it's so big. By the way, I want you to tell me what you think of my hat after, because I kind of love it. It makes me feel good. So no matter how many times I say, oh my God, thank God I'm not acting, thank God I'm not acting. But when I get a chance to act without thinking in advance that I'm going to act, because I would be so scared if I knew that I would have done it, I would have been so nervous the whole time. But because I put myself in front of them, thinking that I was just going to show them the first beat of the scene and then they were going to go on. But once I was there, I just felt so liberated. The truth of that first beat where I recognized something from the surroundings and made the other actor character aware of it and gave him the choice to close the door or not to close the door. Because as soon as I said to him, they're in the other room, can't you hear them? Close the door. And he said back to me, I don't care. because he's not in the same situation that I'm in. He's in a situation where now he's pretending that he's not in pain, that I left him, that I betrayed him with his mother's lover. So he's putting on the cover. See how I'm hitting my head? I keep hitting my head because it's so big and I don't have like the awareness. So if I'm hitting my head like this and I'm not taking that in to say, look, I'm hitting my head, or to do it again, if I'm just pretending that I didn't and I go on as if I didn't hit my head, something would be wrong. The audience would be like, oh my gosh, she just hit her head. Why isn't she becoming aware? Why doesn't she take a second to let us know that she knows that the head is too big and she's not used to it, because I don't wear it all the time. So that's another moment. That's another moment. If I was to play Nina with the hat on, and if I kept hitting my head, not my head. Speak English, Mija. If I were to keep hitting my head, that could be part of the scene that's not even written in the scene, but it could bring some humor to the Chekhov, the seagull, because as you know, Anton Chekhov always, his entire life, he was saying to the director, Stanislavski, that he worked with, he was saying at every chance he got, he even wrote on the scripts, on the plays, comedy, the seagull comedy, the cherry orchard comedy. And people sometimes have a hard time understanding how to play the comedic aspect of these human beings in Anton Chekhov's plays. But there's so much humor because they are being written in such a beautiful and dynamic and complex way that there's so much humor, there is so much pain, there's so much joy, there's so much dancing. So if I decided to wear this as Nina and I hit it and then I go, oops, I hit my head, and then maybe I would get a laugh out of Kostya, or maybe he would just say, why are you wearing such a crazy hat, Nina? And I would say, oh, this is a present from somebody who loved me as an actress when I was playing. And then he would say, never made that as an actress. You're not a great actress. Because he would want to hurt me where he knows it hurts. So then he could go back to another surprising moment. That's only the first beat of a scene. Do you guys understand? Do not let the action in rehearsal or action that the director calls before he shoots a scene get you to behave differently than you did the moment right before the action was called. Get yourself in touch with the observer part of who you are, with the observer part of you. Put the actor to the side for a little bit and don't go to respond to action as if you have to start playing a scene as a scene, because everybody can just play a scene and learn lines. That's not the problem. The problem is what you bring to it. You have to allow your life, going back to the little child that you were once, free, out of the box, to the now adult who's trying to get in touch with the inner child. That's the part of you that you have to bring to the scene, because your life is important, because you matter. You matter. So the characters are only going to be as interesting as you are interesting. If you're going to just depend on the lines, then you might as well don't do acting. Just be a reader. I don't know. Even readers nowadays, when you're having all these audio books, they have to interpret those books. They can't just read them because people want to be entertained. The podcast, when you do a podcast, you have to be animated. You have to let yourself fully be involved with your instrument as a human being. And I'm saying this for everybody in everyday life. It's not just for actors. Allow yourself to be free. This life is so short. Allow yourself to be in your whole body with the big hat playing the drums. Okay, this came out of nowhere, but it came out of nowhere, and it's making me laugh because I'm like, oh my God, I'm acting so crazy. People are gonna think I'm crazy, but it's okay. When you get to that freeing sensation of people are gonna think you're crazy, it's a good thing. Let them think you're crazy. What do you have to lose? You give them first the knowledge that you know you're crazy. And I'm not talking about mental illness. I don't want anybody to go there to say, oh my God, that's not what I'm talking about. So I don't want to hear any of that because I'm not going there. I'm not an expert when it comes to that. I'm talking about the craziness in the freedom and the liberty to just be yourself. Be yourself. How much longer are you going to live like this? Look at what's happening in the world. Look at what's happening in Ukraine. One day, normal life. The next day, crazy man wants to have the old world back because he's a greedy, because he's not in touch with reality of what I was talking about. He's not in touch with reality. He's in a bubble. He only hears what he's being spoken. He doesn't understand awareness. He doesn't understand the sensory. The senses have to be alive and free to live fully every moment, because we are not being guaranteed the next moment. We are not being promised the next moment. This is what I have learned. Do not allow your life to be left to the side and then begin the scene in a way that's monotone, in a way that's held back because you're doing a scene. Who cares about the scene? Bring yourself into the characters and find more parts of yourself through the characters and live. Live. You speak your truth as yourself in the moment as a human being. Forget acting. Don't bow down. Don't wait until the right time is going to come for you to feel that you're worthy, because you already are. You are amazing. You are extraordinary. You are incredible. Bring that to the table, whatever the scenario may be. Speak your truth. The character then will be on the path of that truth. You don't speak your truth, the scene is going to be false, acting is going to be bad. In real life situations, you will just be pleasing everyone. You will just be a yes, yes, yes. I've done yeses, yeses so many times for so long. I'm telling you, don't wait until you get to I don't know what age to start being yourself. And of course, all of this is with keeping in mind that you don't want to hurt yourself and you don't want to hurt other people. You speak the truth as yourself in the moment. The truth will continue down your journey. I will leave you with this. Moment to moment work requires of you to bring a care for your life, a care for the life of the character. So you cannot say that you have an objective as a person and as an actor where the objective allows for you to kind of give up. If you give up, if you do not hope and continue hoping, there is no character, there's no life. Live it fully. I met yesterday the most amazing kid from Ukraine. I happened to have something to do at the consulate of Romania for some paperwork that I needed for home, and there were Romanians, you know, doing their thing. And then all of a sudden this kid comes and he's like 27, 26, and he was speaking English to me. And I said, you're not Romanian? He says, no, I'm trying to get back home to Ukraine because I need to fight for my country. I need to fight for my land, for our people. And I was almost crying. He says, don't cry. Take it easy. You don't have to be sad. He was more at peace with what he has to do than I am. And I'm so far away from it. I am so safe in my life. And this kid was so at peace. He was encouraging me about him going back into the war, into Mariupol, where he doesn't know if his brother is still alive or dead. And I was just, his name, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but I'm going to, beautiful name, Vlad. I was like, oh my God, Vlad, Daniel, beautiful, amazing kid. So he's flying back to fight tomorrow. Oh, he's going to Ukraine. He's going back with such a understanding of what his life means and what his objective is and what his goal is, knowing how great and how grave the risks could be. Because that's what's important. That's what he was telling me yesterday. And I was just trying not to sob, because I don't have the right to. I'm not going back. I'm not going anywhere to fight anything. So thank you to Jason for your amazing one-on-one session. Thank you to Adam for today's class. Thank you to my brilliant students, directing actors, students, amazing. And thank you to this wonderful, amazing, brave kid, Vlad Daniel. Thank you guys for paying attention. Thank you so much. So moment to moment work, you speak the truth, you speak your truth, and the rest of the way, the truth will be part of the journey. Thank you. Mwah, mwah. Hey Stella Podcast. Follow it. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's everywhere. Thank you. I am so grateful to have this platform to be able to just live fully. Yay. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.